Canucks and BC Lions, Hughes Sports Podcast. We're taking the lead, analyzing the game from the rink to the field. From the ice to the turf, we'll break it down. Discussing every win and every loss in town. We'll talk about the Canucks and the Lions. We are your irrational fans. We are your irrational fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 79 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, of course, Jake Hughes, alongside the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing today?
I am doing exceptionally well today. Exceptionally well. Like I'm always good. Today I'm exceptionally good.
Even in this blistering heat wave that we're in again?
I got air conditioning.
Yeah, I got it.
It just turned on. It's underneath the desk, so it feels really good. We won't go into the details.
Too many details on it is.
I broke Jake again. It only took 1 minute, and I broke Jake.
It wasn't. It's not even. It's been a minute, and that included like 40 seconds of intro.
That was awesome.
But it has been a news-filled week. We're going to talk about Olympics, some stuff that we don't normally talk about on this show.
Olympics,
soccer. We're going to talk a lot about the CFL. Not a lot of NHL news. There is a little bit that I forgot to put up on the rundown, but we'll do that in between. And then at the very end of the show, where we would normally end, we have the return of the turnbuckle.
The turnbuckle.
We will be reviewing or previewing, previewing SummerSlam as it happens this Saturday, going through all the matches and predicting everything there. But let's jump into the week that was, and let's talk about kind of the biggest sports story that was hit Canada in probably decades.
I'm going to say probably.
No, that's not true. No, that's not true.
Which one?
Team Canada. The disillusionment of the leadership, the pending charges against the World Junior team, that would be just as big as this.
Yeah, I was thinking back as I was thinking Olympics. So I was going back to when what's his name cheated and got caught with steroids. Ben Johnson.
Alive?
Huh?
Was I alive?
No, you were still a twinkle in my eye, buddy.
Sure, let's call that. But what we are alluding to is the women's soccer scandal, the drone scandal that ended up costing the Canadian women's team 6 points. Got one coach suspended for a year, 2 more coaches sent home and are pending review from FIFA. And the longer this goes on, the more and more heinous it really gets for Team Canada and their filming of teams' practices to review in a systematic way.
First, let's make a point here. I've had people tell me, well, they're just filming practices. They're not going to learn anything from that.
That's, you've never played sports, you've never watched game film.
It's just
simple as that.
Literally, I was like, but the players didn't actually watch the film. Well, their coaches did.
Yeah.
So the coaches were able to coach the players, so the players benefited.
If you've ever watched game film, it's not the first time the coaches watch the game film, and they usually cut it up into like small bite-sized segments because players don't need to watch a 3-hour game. They need to watch specific pieces. And they break it down. They're going to see what they saw at practice using drone footage and then make their point by finding game film, so the players had no idea what was going on.
Right?
And I truly hope that's the case, that the players had no idea what was going on, because originally Bev Priestman said she had no clue what was going on.
But that's been proven false.
That has been proven false. Christine Sinclair, who I hold in a very high regard for putting Canada footy, soccer on the forefront of minds in Canada, claiming she had no idea about it. If it comes out that she knew about it, that would break, I think, everyone's
That would be the
That would-
literal nail.
that would be stripping them of the Olympic championship, stripping them of all previous results, in my opinion.
Yes. Oh,
If the
100%.
players were actually watching the footage.
Yes.
There have been no accounts of that.
Nobody's proven that. We're not saying it happened.
What's his name? Westhead, writer for TSN, investigative journalist for TSN and CTV, who is the one who broke the Canadian men's junior team scandal and the Kyle Beach scandal.
Yeah.
Reported the day it came out that this was an ongoing thing, and that was well known inside of Soccer Canada.
And I keep hearing from people saying it's an ongoing thing with every team. Like everybody's doing it.
If that's the case, the points should be restored. Canada should be put into first place. FIFA should be doing a huge investigation, as should the IOC. There should be public apologies made from New Zealand to Canada.
Yeah.
Both of the Olympic committees.
Yes.
Because the outrage that they had made me believe that there is no chance that they were doing that. And that could be staged.
Of course, for outrage, right? Everybody speeds, but I got caught. I got a ticket. Should I have to pay that ticket?
Well, everyone's going 120 on the highway too.
Yeah, I got caught. I have to pay that ticket. Canada got caught. And I posted on our family chat today because I wanted to try to get other people's opinions. And I was kind of shocked. And I don't, as you know, I'm not a soccer fan whatsoever. I don't follow the sport even that much. I've watched, I could probably say 3 games from start to finish in my lifetime. But I was kind of shocked with the responses that I saw, just for the fact it was, well, if it happened to anybody else, it wouldn't have been this severe.
I think it would have.
There's a conspiracy against the Canadian soccer associations,
of course,
and I'm just, I'm struggling with how I should be reacting to it, because the one side of me is, how serious is it? It's a drone watching a game. I played soccer when I was a kid. We didn't have set plays. Right?
These are pros. They have set plays. They have
obviously at
tactics.
This level, you have set plays. The other side of me says, should they even be playing? Should they have been disqualified? And it's been literally since this came out, it's been like little guys sitting on my shoulder going, kick him out. The other side going, well, it wasn't that bad. They got 6 points taken away.
Again, we were talking about it off screen before the podcast started, but if it was only the coaches that saw it and the players weren't involved in any way, shape, or form, I think it's the punishment is acceptable. If players were reviewing that footage, I think that should be.
But players have benefited from the coaches seeing that, and that's my struggle. Is the players have definitely benefited it, because as a coach, if I know how the other team's going to play us, I could coach my team a whole lot better because I have inside information. So to say the players didn't benefit, well, they did.
They of course they benefited, but it wasn't. They weren't implicitly involved.
No,
they didn't realize where the information was coming from.
True.
They're literally, the team itself is getting fined for the coach's actions. Don't get me wrong, the coach is part of the team, but the coach isn't the whole team. If one of the players went out and went on a bender, got absolutely drunk and smashed a car, should the entire team be punished for that, or just that one player? And I'm also of the mindset of,
but this is a little different than that, because the guy getting drunk, and it didn't benefit the whole team. That's my dilemma, and that's where I keep going back to they benefited in a way. They benefited from their coaches being dishonest.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean,
but they still have to go out there. Just because you can have the perfect game plan, the players still have to go out there and play it and play those games, and it reacts to what's happening.
You play poker. I play poker.
Yep.
You can have the perfect game plan going into a poker tournament and not succeed. But if I was to tell you you're going to play a poker tournament, they're not going to see your 2 cards, but you get to see one of their 2 cards. And every single hand.
That's not what this is like.
But it is, because
this is
because it's an advantage.
This is like the way I view it.
Yeah.
This is like when the WSOP had the November 9, and they started they showed every single hole card, but I only had access to that. You didn't. I had months I had time to prepare, see how you played all these different spots, and you didn't have that information.
Huge advantage.
But is it going along it this way, right?
Yeah.
My coach gave me this information. I don't know where it came from. I didn't know how it was obtained. All I'm doing is I'm trusting my coaches, who are supposed to be the best of us, supposed to hold us to a higher standard. They're giving me that information.
So I guess it comes down to, then, where is that line? If one player knew?
If as soon as one player knew,
all rotten because the one player knew.
Yes.
Right? If let's say it was one player, let's say it's not the top player, let's say it's not Sinclair. I know she's not playing.
Yep.
But let's say it's not her. But let's say it's a sub that very rarely gets to play.
They're still at practice. They're still, to me, that is right? One bad apple spoils the bunch.
And that's where my dilemma is A, how long has this been going on? We don't know that yet. B, who knew?
Yeah.
When we know those answers, then we can, I guess, then do we go back as if they win a medal, then do they get that medal stripped?
I 100% believe that to be the case.
Ben Johnson, it happened. He won the medal and found out later he was on steroids. The medal was stripped.
Yeah. It's happened before, and it'll happen again. Teams, and they can get stripped. I think if there's evidence and proof, and it goes back to the 2021 gold medal, you strip them of that too.
I guess the bottom line, it just puts a real black mark on what has been such a successful organization.
Yep.
And then in my head, as I'm saying that, has it been successful because they had this extra information?
And for the longest time, we will have an asterisk next to it until we find out.
Right? It sucks. The whole thing sucks.
But then there's also a part of me, like, you get a penalty in football, and it's like, well, are you really trying if you're not thinking of cheating? If someone flashes you their cards at a poker table, are you going to use that information?
Of course I am. 100% of the time.
But the difference is I'm not putting a camera on some guy's sleeve so I can see into his cards, and that's the difference. And I know it's a difference, but it's the first thing. Literally, when I heard it, I was like, well, good on Canada for getting rid of this. We're nice guys, and thank you, sorries, but we're going to try to cheat to win.
We turned from the baby faces to the heel. Wrestling reference.
Just like that.
And the crowd is booing us, and nobody loves us anymore. Everybody loved Canada. Hey,
and you know what's even better about that is we're still fucking winning. We've moved on to the quarterfinals despite a 6-point hole.
Yeah, but did we win because we cheated?
Well, we didn't get drone footage for the other two teams that were practicing.
Yeah. Or did we? Moving on.
That's something that's not in the rundown I want to touch on very briefly is that it was announced that Coach Tockett will be one of the coaches for the Four Nations Cup for Team Canada.
Oh, really?
Huge honor for him, as this is the first iteration of the Four Nations Cup. We can't call it the World Cup because, of course, Russia is not invited.
Still could be.
Yeah, he's the assistant coach for Team Canada. Just something I want to talk about because I think it's well deserved and well done to recognize his success with the Canucks and that he is a beneficial part of Team Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into some CFL news now. After we get through with the news, then before we jump into the week that was, we'll hear
Huge
from the
news in the
sponsor.
CFL. All kinds of stuff happening everywhere.
And
It's all over. My mind's going a million miles an hour.
Then we'll hear from the sponsor of the show, Ranchland RV. Some of the biggest news, and something we actually talked about last week with Farhan Lalji, is Nathan Rourke. What?
Was that last week?
That was last week.
Wow, okay. It was.
And he reported it here that Nathan Rourke is not seeing a lot of reps at Giants training camp. And it was announced earlier this week, or late last week, I guess, is that he was waived by the Giants.
I think it was on like the Thursday.
Thursday, I think it was the Friday.
Was it the Friday? Yeah.
I believe it was the Friday. That he was waived by the Giants. No team picked him up, meaning he is homeless. He is looking for an NFL home. There is reports that he has gone to Atlanta or is going to Atlanta this week.
No, today.
Was it today?
He was
to
in
try
Atlanta
out.
today. Yeah, that wasn't a rumor. He was in Atlanta trying out with the Atlanta.
Yeah, you're right.
Falcons.
You're right there. There you go. There you go.
It just, and I wasn't surprised when I heard it because we had the insider of insiders on, and he basically, without saying it, he basically said, "Get ready for it." He's not getting the reps. He's thrown the ball like 4 times. And it's just sucks that a guy with that much talent isn't been given even a slight opportunity. They put him into this preseason last year, and he lit it up. He lit up preseason. Everybody was talking about him. Every sports talk show, every sports TV show, radio show, newspapers, podcasts, we were all talking about how great he was. And then they put him on the sidelines because it's so damn political.
They didn't even put him on the sidelines. They put him on the practice roster.
It's sad, but I guess now the question is,
does he end up back in the CFL?
See, and I was like, okay, he's going to come back because he wants to play. But then I re-listened to our podcast with Farhan, and I really listened to what Farhan had said about his return. He's not returning this season.
No,
he's a smart man.
That was and Farhan said that very almost as a matter of fact, but
yes,
in a way that was, we could interpret it as a fact.
Yeah.
Is that Nathan Rourke is not looking to come back for the 2024 CFL season.
No. I mean, I believe he had said he's not going to return until after September.
Yeah, that was his
October, right? Like I say, he's a smart kid. Man, he's not a kid. He's a smart man. This will be because he's a free agent. Nobody owns his
CFL
rights
or NFL and NFL.
It will be the biggest freaking lottery in the CFL history that we've ever seen. Will somebody cough up $1 million for the first time?
Not the first time.
No, that's true.
Henry Burst was the first. Henry Burst was the first quarterback to make over $1 million.
But will it go that high again?
I think if so. What's his name from 3 Down Nation?
Dunk.
Yeah, Dunk put out something, and I can't find it right now. And I've been searching the internet trying to find it. It might have just been a tweet that he believes the only place Nathan Rourke wants to play is in BC.
Oh, and again, if you listen to Farhan, he definitely said that BC
wants to
is
return
his
home.
choice.
So
We got one of the richest owners of professional sport, or richest CFL owner.
thank you. Yeah.
And that owns the BC Lions. He ain't letting them go anywhere else. Come on. I don't know how long of a contract VA has, but that contract got really short.
It's best. Honestly, it would be best for the league if Nathan Rourke went somewhere else. I truly believe that. I believe the hype around the kid, if he went to Edmonton, if he went to Ottawa, if he went to Toronto,
Rod!
I believe if he went to one of those three teams, it is a bigger point for the league to have him there than it is to have him in BC.
Rod, you know how much I love you. You know that. But don't you dare even suggest that the Smurf Mafia would adopt Mr.
I think
Gabriel.
every team would have him.
Oh, I mean, every team would, without a doubt. Edmonton would be all over him. I mean, Calgary needs a quarterback. Calgary won't, because they won't put out the money that would have to put out. There's no way.
And Adams
would put out that kind of money.
Just so you know, Adams Jr. has a 3-year contract extension signed in 2024.
So we would trade him. Rod, I know you're listening. Correct me if I'm wrong. When Dunnigan was traded, I believe he was traded twice. Once from BC and to Toronto for 6 players, and then from Toronto to somewhere else for 6 players. Would VA be that 3 or 4 players, 5 players even, if you could get a VA?
I think if you're waiting until next season, he keeps up the pace he's on and he goes and wins the Grey Cup at home in Vancouver.
When he wins the Grey Cup, you mean? Yeah, okay, carry on.
Hey, look, I mean, Smurf Mafia should have won the last 5 Grey Cups. If you ask
most of the Mafia.
I was gonna say, if you ask them, they should have won all. Like they should have won the last 10. But if he goes out and wins, I think you're getting 4 or 5 pieces minimum.
Oh yeah, I right. And again, I can't see the Lions letting him get away.
Or is it one of those where teams know you need to get rid of them, so you're only getting 1 piece, 2 piece left. Just like Farhan talked about last week, is that there's teams know everything about each team, and if you're trying to get rid of someone, it's just a matter of waiting until the price is what you want to pay for, or they cut the guy.
Yeah, exactly. And Rod did agree, confirm my memory. I read it just recently. That's why it's stuck in my head. I don't know why I read it, but I read it just recently, and it was Mr. Dunnigan for 6 players twice.
It's crazy.
In his career.
It's crazy. 12 players.
And he hasn't shut up since.
But let's jump ahead to more CFL news. We got returns to the Winnipeg BC game. You have Lucky Whitehead and Keon Hatcher returning for the Winnipeg and BC game. However, if you're familiar with the Lucky Whitehead name in BC, it's not a good news because he's playing for Winnipeg. Keon Hatcher is still on BC. We're okay with that.
I did tweet at Lucky tonight because he tweeted out that everybody should get their number 7 jerseys dusted off. And I tweeted back at him and said, I don't need it dusted off. I have it on. I'm going to be wearing it tonight while I do my podcast. I would normally be cheering for him, but he's playing BC this week. So can you take it easy on us, Lucky? Come on.
I wish that worked. I wish something like that would work with a player, but
yeah, probably not, eh?
Probably not. It'll be interesting to see because he's had 3 weeks now to get prepared he should be in shape. Like clearly was ready to go, waiting to be signed, and returning to play against a team that I'm sure he feels slighted by because they didn't want to pay him what he thought he was worth.
Oh yeah, he's going to come back. He's going to have. I mean, he has a chip on his shoulder at the best of times. He is going to come out. I wonder, A, what its entrance will be. B, will he be a starter or will he
he'll. I think first possession, you hit him on a quick hitch, get him a feel for game action again.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll get those 30,000 plus Bomber fans roaring. They announced earlier today, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers did that. Over 30,000 tickets have been sold. I was doing some very quick math. There have been 4 games this year that have sold over 30,000 tickets. 3 of them have one thing in common. Can you name BC, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg? But one outlier.
You just love that, don't you?
I do.
Only because the Smurf Mafia kept saying, oh, the only way BC gets to get a crowd in there is they put Saskatchewan in. Shut up. That's just stupid. You're dumb. That's just dumb. I'm actually... Yeah, Charlie, it will be a sellout. Charlie's joined us, our resident Winnipeg fan, that lives in Edmonton, I think, if my memory serves me correct. Charlie from Edmonton, but he's part of the Smurf Mafia.
Well,
I think
Winnipeg's slowly turning into what the Riders fans were for the first half of the 2000s. Is that like there's nothing to do in Winnipeg or Saskatchewan, so they have to leave? Which just means you end up going to places and just being like, why is there a Bomber fan here? This is Stampeders and this is a Stampeders Lions game. Why is there a Bomber fan here?
You're hilarious. Too funny. So no, I am really looking forward to this game.
Me too.
It's going to be a test for BC, and they've coming off their bye week, which always scares me, by the way. But
it gave a week for Vernon Adams to hopefully heal up whatever was wrong with his ribs or midsection.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
It will be fun. But before we jump and start doing our predictions,
that's why I was kind of hesitating there.
I know. I know what you're doing.
Okay.
Let's hear from the sponsor of our show.
Oh,
Rangeland RV.
Rangeland.
Hi guys, Mitch here with Rangeland RV. You might remember me from such videos as Big Mitch P, the Rockwood 1970 ESP, and even Hot Deals. But I'm here today to talk about something else. Are you having trouble seeing yourself in a new trailer this year because of the high interest rates? Well, we've got a solution for you. We are back with our 2.99% financing on all of our 2023 travel trailers and fifth wheels. On now all the way till...
For a limited time only. Limited time only?!
For a limited time only. So get on down here, take advantage of the massive savings, and get yourself inside your guys' dream RV this season. Happy camping.
Thank you so much to Rangeland RV. I'm assuming if anyone wants an RV, they can go see you, old man.
They can. They can look me up at Rangeland RV, or they can send me a tweet, or they can call my cell 403-969-2184. We've only got about probably 2 months left in the camping season out this way. So if you want to finish up camping in a new, or we have quite a few pre-owned in stock right now too. So, and some incredible deals. That 2.99% is amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say 2.99% is not an interest rate you can get most places for anything, let alone a purchase for the size of an RV. So take advantage of while it is here. Well, we jump into the week that was in the CFL. Thursday night,
what a week.
we were talking about I don't know what happened. We went to the Upside Down. We went to Wacko Town, Wackoville. What is it? What did he used to call it? What did the king used to call Canada?
Oh, Wackadoodles. No.
Wackoverse?
Bizarro World or something.
Bizarro World.
Yeah, that was Montreal.
That was Montreal.
Speaking of
Montreal, there's a connection to the things I try to bring up. I just fail at the words. Saskatchewan goes in and has a lead going into the second half and ends up losing and not scoring another point. Being defeated by the Owls 20-16.
It was one of those games that you watched and you went, what am I watching? Like, is this... Even the first half, I mean, it wasn't good football. Yeah, the Elves went up the Riders went up 16-3. Not because they played really well. They didn't. The Elves were even worse. And then the tables turned and the Elves put Anderson. Is that his name?
I do not know. This is the one game I didn't watch.
I actually took notes on this game, believe it or not.
Look at you go, Mr. Professional.
I know. I was pretty.
Would have been nice if during like the commercial break we had, if you pulled those notes up and were actually prepared.
I got them up now. Yeah, they put in Patterson, and this kid.
They put in Alexander. Patterson is Saskatchewan's backup.
Oh yeah, sorry. They put in Alexander. Thank you. I knew that wasn't right. This kid was good. Have they uncovered another star QB for the CFL? He seemed to fit the perfect example of a CFL quarterback. I liked it.
15 for 18, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. For only a half of play, you extrapolate that, you're looking at over 300 yards.
Yeah.
Right? Well over 300 yards. So I think it's too soon to be seeing a potential superstar because, as we know, look at like a performance we'll talk about in the next game. And Jake Meyer last week against the Lions looked great. Consistency is key in the CFL, and you need to bring a couple of those together.
We didn't talk about in our news about people coming back. Fajardo, it sounds like he will be back this week. So this poor Davis Alexander gets one half of football because they're going to play. They're going to put Fajardo back in right away if he's healthy enough to go. If not, I'd love to see this kid get a chance.
Well, and it might be a case of Owls fans, Owls coaching and management being able to be like, okay, we do have a backup plan in case he goes out. Don't get me wrong. I think Caleb Evans did a fine job, but fine isn't going to get you into the playoffs in the CFL.
No. One thing I noticed during this game is just absolutely ridiculous penalties being taken. In the first half, it was Montreal taking the ridiculous penalties. In the second half, it was Saskatchewan. I mean, there was a 50-yard plus play that a silly PI call, it was a holding or something, and brought it back. Just stupid calls.
Saskatchewan took 8 penalties for 105 yards.
Yeah.
In comparison to the Alouettes, who took 5 for 50.
Yeah, killers. So, Alexander, he went 12 straight before missing one. He went 12 for 12, then missed a couple in a row there. But look good. Montreal wins again. What's their record now? Are they still undefeated? I don't think no.
No. They are 6-1.
6-1. So still looking good in Montreal with Fajardo coming back this week. If he picks up where he left off, Montreal still is going to be the team to beat out in the East without a doubt.
Yep. I think even if Toronto quarterback Chad Kelly comes back, I still think the Owls are the team to beat with Cody Fajardo and the accompaniment of the entire team surrounding him.
Yeah.
Then on Friday night, we had what was supposed to be a football game and turned into just a stomping, was the Calgary Stamps going into Ottawa and losing by a score of 33-6. And it just inconsistent Stamps. Inconsistency kills them.
Is that not the biggest spread this year so far?
I think we had one that was around the same.
Oh, okay, because most of the games, and we talked about it last week with Farhan, is most of the games have been so competitive and so close. I mean, we talked about it at length, how it seemed like every week we were getting a walk-off field goal to win a game. And then we have this. Especially after, and I picked the Stamps to win this one, coming off a high of beating BC by the 1 point. I thought for sure they'd be wound up and ready to go and play in Ottawa, but didn't turn out. I didn't get to watch the game. I had a previous engagement, so unfortunately didn't get to see it, or fortunately didn't get to see it.
You are correct. I thought I was going back through the games while you were talking there. I thought the game in week 3 was a 28-point spread. It was only a 26-point spread. So this is actually the biggest spread in the CFL this year.
I had thought so, but I hadn't looked it up beforehand, so I wasn't positive.
It looked completely like Ottawa was on a different level than the Calgary Stampeders. There's a completely different level.
Again, watching a few highlights. I didn't even watch the CFL YouTube highlights. I just watched a few highlights, so can't even comment.
Yeah,
except to say, ouch.
It was hard to, like, as just a CFL fan, someone who likes watching football and not having his team play this week. It was hard to watch. There wasn't a lot of like, oh, good play. Like there was nothing. They got beat. They didn't make adjustments until into the fourth quarter when they finally put in their backup. I'm trying to think of his name right now. Derek Mill. No, that's rushing. Logan Bonner. Which, to be fair, Dickinson actually put in his backup. We should be singing the praises. But Logan Bonner went well over.
Right.
Logan Bonner went 4 for 8 for 61 yards.
Yeah.
In, I think, 10 minutes of play.
Insane.
Yeah. Just, I have nothing else to say other than get your shit together, Calgary, because it's going to be a long, long time for you to be relevant again. It's
almost like Winnipeg and Calgary are fighting to see who can't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
right?
It really is.
Because it's BC. I can't believe I'm saying this. BC, then the Riders, and then it's there's a drop.
I was going to say then a thin layer of horse manure, and the rest of the teams in the West.
Right.
And then 30 feet of dog shit. The tombstone of
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones's career, and then the Edmonton Elks.
Wow. That was graphic. Uncalled for. Wow. I was just trying to make a point there, and you just took it to a new level.
Look, we'll talk about it when we get down to the Ticats and Elks game. But
speaking of a new level,
Smurf Mafia, I feel sorry for you. I really do, because I didn't get to see this game. I was officiating a game at Showdice when the Bombers lose to the Argos in overtime after deciding to not kick a field goal and take the points and put the game almost out of reach.
Well, the whole entire game, and again, I watched this from start to finish. The first half was just horrible football. The Bombers turned the ball over 2 times in that half, and your mom says, "Tell us how you really feel, Jake." The Bombers turned the ball over 2 times in the first half. Neither team scored a touchdown. It was 6-6 at the half. It was so hard to watch. which sucks because we were praising how great every week there was a game that you could watch and be excited and say, this is the CFL. Damn, this is nice. Not so much this week. Not so much. Second half, I mean, it was pretty much the same thing. It amazed me with tie game. Winnipeg had the ball 3rd and 1 at the 30. At the Argos 30. And all they had, there was a minute left. Maybe a minute 1, minute 2. All they had to do was kick a field goal. Yeah, you're giving them a minute, but have some confidence in your defense. Nobody had scored. Like it was bad ball all over. And you decided to go for it. Yes, Drevler usually is Mr. Automatic and blah, 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 blah. Soon as they came out and lined up to go for it, I looked at Ellie and I said, they're not going to make this. This is called karma. And I've seen it happen so many times when you unnecessarily go for it to try to, I don't know, I was going to say try to gain an advantage. I don't know what. The coach said I got greedy. Greedy? No, greedy's winning the game. You didn't get greedy. You got stupid. That's just stupidity.
If you had a winning
you
team,
didn't get it. Oh, it was a bad spot. Blah. Shut up. It wasn't a bad spot. You didn't make it.
I saw a lot of comments on that, and I want to people to understand, because it's not something that I knew actually until I started officiating. On a turnover of downs, the ball flips. The ball literally, you say, like, this is your first down line. The ball's here. You flip the ball like this, so that tip of the ball is still in the same spot.
Yeah.
That's why it looked like this tip of the ball was across the line. It's because this is where they measured to. So yes, 100%, it looked like that. But if now that hopefully you understand,
they won't.
There's multiple people reviewing the game. There are cameras watching it, and it slows down the game all hell. And people complain about it, but they do review a lot of those things.
Well, this
and then people complain because the games take too long. The officials need to make the decision and stick with it. Make up your mind. You can't have it both ways.
Well, and this was reviewed. It's automatic review. There was a minute left.
And it's a turnover. It's a turnover on downs is a turnover. They're always automatically reviewed.
Exactly. So suck it up. Your coach messed up. But really, that's not why you lost the game. You lost the game because you don't pay attention to the Hughes Sports Podcast rule number 1. What's our rule number 1, Jake?
Well, I believe last week we dubbed it the Hughes Sports rule.
Yes.
Is that if you turn the ball over more than 3 times, you lose the game.
How many times did Winnipeg turn the ball over?
I'm actually looking that up here as you started talking
look
about
up.
it.
Just look up.
5. I can count. That's one whole hand. That's 5.
That's more than 3, folks. If you turn the ball over 5 times, you're not going to win a whole lot of games. That's why you lost the game. Plus, you just played horribly. Horribly.
4 fumbles. How do you have 4 fumbles?
It was like Bizarro World, because Dembski, normally Mr. Surehands, he would surehand catch it, and then he would be running like he had a freaking loaf of bread in his hand, and they were punching that ball out. They did it twice to him.
Now and it's something I've always thought when players are running like that. Is that a case of a player trying to do too much?
Yes.
Is that a
100%.
player trying to push rather than secure the ball and keep it going? He's like, I need to score this every time I touch the ball, because you never know when it's going to come out.
Exactly. 100%.
Anything else to talk about with the Bombers and Argos?
No.
So I have one thing I want to touch on. I think it's very impressive, and I don't do this normally. Congratulations to the Bombers. You only took 1 penalty in an entire game of football. That is quite impressive.
Yeah.
It was a 15-yarder, but it was still only 1 penalty.
But they still blaming the refs because they lost, because there was a missed PI call. And you know what? I tend to agree it was a missed. If you saw it, it was...
And I messaged you because I tried to find it, and it was one of the things I could not find a good angle of where it wasn't...
Pretty much every sports analyst covering the CFL that was watching that game said, yeah, that should have been called. And it was weird because it went upstairs and it was still not overturned. And it was an interception for a pick six, which changed the game, you know. You put yourself in a position to let one play change the game. That was your problem.
Wally Bono used to say it every single game.
Yes.
Yeah, it was one play, but if we did 13 things right down the line before that point, we wouldn't put ourselves in that situation.
Exactly.
Jumping ahead to the final game of the week, we had the Ticats taking on the Elks, and whoo boy, the Elks lose by a score of 44-28. And I want to put this in big, bold prints because I hope Mr. Peterson is still in the chat. We cannot judge the changes that the Elks made until at least next year.
I'm going to disagree with you.
You can disagree all you want, but I've got the biggest thing. Who put this team together?
Well, yeah, definitely Jones put the team together, but Jarius is making the play, is making the calls now. And when you're playing as bad as the Elks have played in this game, and you don't make a quarterback change until this game is so far out, and then you put Drew Brown in, and he scores something like 20 points.
Trey Ford.
What did I say? Drew Brown. Trey Ford in. And he scores, I think, 20 points. I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
3 touchdowns
in minutes. Yes, the game was out of reach. The Ticats, I'm sure, settled back and started giggling. Some of this has to be put on to the regime that's there now. I totally agree with you saying that Jones put this team together, but you could turn around a team. Let's use the Canucks for
they hired
start with me.
They hired a successful previous head coach who has had proven success with a team.
Oh, so that's the only time you can do it.
Jarius Jackson has had zero experience as a head coach. Has head coached a total of 2 games now. 2.
But you can't say
with a roster that was not built to win, clearly, with the mindset of a quarterback who he knows what those players are going through. Look at our biggest complaint about Dave in Calgary. He never pulls his quarterbacks because he knows what it's like to be felt, and he doesn't want his players to play that way.
You think that's what it is?
Jarius Jackson. I had my suspicions beforehand with the way Jarius Jackson is right now. I think that's 100% the case. You don't want to pull your star or your starter in a game where there's a chance for you to win, because they know what that feels like.
I was happy. I mean, I'm obviously not an Elks fan whatsoever, but I was happy to see Bethel Thompson get his ass handed to him and get sat. Just for the damn whining he's been doing over and over. Oh my God. It's just so. Go back home. If you don't like it, go back home. First off,
he said he was. He never said he said he was never going to come back to the CFL because he didn't like it.
Yeah.
But then he failed in every other league, so he was going to come back and play here because it was easy.
Yeah.
This league isn't easy.
No. Anybody that's played this in this league will tell you this league isn't easy.
Johnny Manziel, who was supposed to be like God's gift to football at one point, he came up and said, "Nah, fuck this.
This league is anything but easy." Right? It's going to be interesting to see now with Trey. No, who is it? Sorry.
Yep, Trey. You're right.
Trey Ford starting the next game because it's been announced that he is going to start.
Yep, he's 100% starting.
It's going to be interesting to see how that chemistry is going to work with his receivers. I honestly think a lot of times we say the coach lost the room. Was this a case of the quarterback losing the room? Because the quarterback is part of your coaching staff. Whether people want to believe that or not, it really is.
I've said the same thing about Hamilton for the last 3 weeks. Yes. The team has given up on Bo Levi. Why are we playing for him? I don't think they've given up on their coaching staff because the defense is still bought in.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think this past week they're playing the Elks. It's very easy to look good against the Elks.
Oh, yeah.
So let's hold our breath here. But really, if and it's a big if Trey Ford comes in and turns his team around the way many people hope or maybe are expecting that he does, and they go on a run,
Ooh.
That looks really bad on Jarius Jackson a little bit, but really bad on Chris Jones, and really, really, really bad on I guess it was Chris Jones. I was like, who signed McLeod Bethel Thompson? Chris Jones, of course.
He was the GM, right? Yes, he was coach GM. So you know what? Best thing for this league right now is for the Edmonton Elks to go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak. Best thing for the CFL is for Winnipeg to come start playing like they have in the past. To have a 9-team league and have 3 teams not playing up to what expectations, I'll say, maybe 4 teams, isn't good for the league. No. As a true CFL fan, yes, we call ourselves the irrational fans. It's right there. There's no joke about it. But as a true CFL fan, if we can elevate all the teams so we're playing at a higher level, even if teams are still losing, but at least they're losing by a walk-off field goal.
But that's how the Elks were playing.
Yes.
And we're still talking this way. Yeah. Right? So I do agree, Charlie.
It's years and years of losing.
I do agree with Charlie, who put in the chat here. Did it pop up on your screen? Because mine said it's showing, but it's not.
What's that?
Charlie's there. It is.
Oh yeah.
It's going to take a few years with new ownership to get Elks a real team to compete, and I don't disagree.
Oh yeah, for sure, Charlie, 100%.
There are confirmed reports that there's an ownership group that's
reports.
I think they're confirmed at this point that they're in conversations with an ownership team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Ownership.
It's going to happen sooner or later.
Exactly. Anything else regarding the Ticats and Elks?
Not a thing.
Well, then let's jump into everyone's favorite segment of the week.
It's time for the old man predictions. How well did he do? Do-do-da. Do-dee-do.
That is right, everyone. It is time for the old man predicts. How well did he do? Do-dee-da. Do-dee-do. And this week he went on an impressive 3-1 run, putting his total combined record of 22-10 and a week record of 2-6. Not weak as in W-E-A-K, as in W-E-E-K, just to be clear.
It means I've only picked twice where I've had all 4 games perfectly correct.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Right.
Which is still very impressive. Let's not kid ourselves.
2-10. If I was putting money on these games, I'd probably be able to retire by now.
Well, I mean, depends on how much money you're putting on these games.
Well, I could be putting $10,000 down on every game. I'd be rich.
All right. He's officially lost it. But before he completely loses it, I want to bring in this chat from earlier in the show.
What?
Because the first game we have is BC going into Winnipeg. These 5-2 BC Lions, I might add, taking on the 2-6 Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And Charlie wrote in, hope everything is well. Can't wait for tomorrow's game. Bombers to win this one. What do you think, old man?
You know, I didn't comment because we weren't at Old Man Predicts. Charlie, come on. You know what I think. My goodness. You could bring out, he also put in there, they're going to pull out some few players out of retirement to play BC, including Chris Walby, Perry Tuttle, James Murphy. along with Rick House. You could do whatever you wanted. You could bring Jesus Christ and let him play for you. And guess what? The Lions are still going to win this one. I'm taking the Lions, just like 81% of the fans on Pick'em took.
That's impressive. I really thought that would be closer just based off of the amount of Bomber fans. But I also think as much as Bomber fans are irrational and the Smurf Mafia likes to think their team is perfect, they're also aware that their team is far from perfect.
Yes.
Friday, we have Montreal going in to Hamilton. Who do we have taken that game?
Oh, 100%. This one's going to be Montreal. 75% of fans pick Montreal. I'm surprised.
Wait. 83% of fans chose BC.
81,
but
yeah.
only 75% chose Montreal.
Shows you how not scientific this whole pick'em thing is. But I did take the L's as well. With Fajardo coming back, I think the L's should handle these guys.
Now, the game that I'm actually, other than the BC Winnipeg game, because obviously
Can I make a comment? Sorry, because
comment.
I'll forget. Charlie, I'll tell you what. I'm going to make you a deal, my friend.
Sorry, wait. Let's just.
What are you doing?
I'll call you on that one, old guy. LOL, you're going down. That is what Charlie had said. We need to give people context.
Yeah,
this is an audio show as well.
You can put it up. Yeah, I'll put it up. Charlie, tell you what. I'll look in the camera this time. If the Bombers win, I'll let you come on and you get to do Old Man Predicts next week. How's that?
That's a treat. That's not everyone gets that type of treatment here.
Now, so we got a bet going here, Charlie.
Well, Charlie has yet to accept. I'm sure he will, but we'll see.
There's no bet.
Charlie,
it's just if they win, he gets to take my role next week.
I get. Well, if he's camera shy, he can also send in his report. Send it in.
Yes.
We're not forcing you to be on camera or have your voice out there.
But we will let you if you want.
Yep.
He says, "Cool, bet is on."
Perfect.
That's how confident I am. Nobody's taking over Old Man Predicts. What do you think this is?
Then we have Saturday, the Edmonton Elk taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And like I was trying to say before we got sidetracked with a live bet taking place, is that this is probably the game I'm second most excited for, and the game that I think could really be the game of the week.
The Elks Riders?
Yeah, if Trey Ford comes out and does what everyone is, again, the expectations of Trey Ford are huge right now.
Yes.
If he comes out and does what he can do or is expected to do, this could be a very fun game.
I keep going back and forth on this one, and I've landed on taking the Riders.
Does that make this week's coin toss?
No.
Oh, I already put up the graphics, so we'll just take.
You can't just randomly, willy-nilly put graphics up during Old Man Predicts.
You can't tell me that you're flip-flopping and it not be a coin toss. That's literally
Folks, this is what I got to put up with on a regular basis.
Get through your ad read, your
so
predictions.
I was going back and forth on this one, but I landed on the Riders. But I wouldn't be surprised if I lose this one because the Elks come out and are on fire.
That one I have to change. Then we go into the final game of the week, and we have the Toronto Argonauts taking on the Calgary Stampeders. What do we have going on this one?
Well, this one is the coin toss.
Interesting.
Because even the fans, 45-55, 45 for Argos, 55 for Stamps. They don't even know. I'm still, you know what? I can still change my mind because we haven't put them in yet. I just made my picks.
No. You locked them in on the Hughes Sports podcasts. I don't care about the CFL pickup.
Well, but I haven't locked them in on the CFL on the podcast yet because I haven't said it yet. So I can still change my mind in the next 10 seconds.
Sorry, I thought you were saying that you had you could.
I literally went back and forth. I predict it's going to be a 3-point game. And right now I have the Stamps, so I'm going to lock it in as the Stamps, and I'm going to regret that. I just know I'm going to regret it.
I just don't think the consistency of Jake Mayer is there. And I think Argos are going to be just that much better.
Yeah. Like I say, it could go either way.
So the old man predicts for week 9 are the BC Lions, the Toronto Argonauts, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and the Calgary Stampeders. And now normally, this is the part of the show where we thank you for your watching and patronage and your hanging out, and like and subscribe. And please do like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube after the show. Leave a comment. Tell us who you think is going to win each game this week. However, if you are watching this live or you're watching this on recording, you're like, this episode seems like it's gone on an extra half hour or so. It's because we have the return of our wrestling segment. So if you're not a wrestling fan, I apologize. I don't really apologize. If you're not a wrestling fan, get the fuck out of here. We entertained you for an hour. Let's jump in to the turnbuckle. That is right, everyone. We are back talking wrestling on the show. It's been a little while since we've talked wrestling. I think it's been like since WrestleMania that we've talked about anything.
Nah, I don't think we have. But this is a big one.
This is a big one. Have you been watching a lot of WWE programming, or are you just keeping up with the storylines?
I'm just keeping up with the storylines.
Okay, so
I have watched a bit. I wouldn't say I've watched a lot.
Okay. I would put myself in the exact same scenario. I usually listen to like the reviews after Monday Night Raw because it's a good way to fall asleep because I get the information, but it's a 3-hour show. You don't need a 3-hour show every single week.
No, it's dumb.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's too long.
It's been too long for 10 plus years.
It should go back to, I prefer an hour show. I think an hour show.
I think 2 hours is good for your flagship show. However, SmackDown is the flagship show of the WWE now. So yeah, Raw back to an hour.
Yeah.
However, with the transition to Netflix, we'll probably see longer Raws because they're not beholden to network standards.
Yeah, exactly.
Although it is Triple H running the show now, and maybe we'll see shorter shows. Maybe we'll see 2.5 hour shows.
He doesn't go by Triple H anymore.
Sorry, Paul, formerly known as Triple H Levesque. Have you seen his post PLE pressers?
No.
He's got these tiny little glasses.
Oh yes. Yes.
It's like, dude, you have a giant head. You're one of the big things of your entire career was that your nose is 20 feet tall, and you're putting on these glasses that make it look even worse.
It just makes me giggle. So let's bang through these matches.
Yes. So the first match we have will be the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn is a champion taking on Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov.
I think they're going to let Braun Breaker, who everybody should know by now, is actually a Steiner.
Yes.
Right.
How do you feel about it's something I've hated since he's taken the name Braun Breaker, is that they easily could have gone with Braun Steiner.
Yes.
Everyone knows he's a Steiner.
He barks like a Steiner.
He's got the same gimmick as the Steiners. Like, it just makes no sense to me why you're trying to label him something else. It's like, it'd be like calling like when Charlotte Flair first started, she wasn't called Charlotte Flair. It was just Charlotte. And then eventually, due to pressure, it was, well, clearly she's a Flair. She's doing Rick's gimmick.
Yes.
Either way, you think Braun Breaker's going to take that one?
I do. I think that's going to be his breakout match. They're going to give him a bit of a push and see where it goes with him. Basically, I think Sami Zayn has been basically mentoring him.
Him and Ilya.
Moment. Yeah.
And I think the thing is, I think with the three-way, I think Dragunov can take the pin. So Sami doesn't have to. You keep Sami looking strong as that baby face.
Yeah.
Loses the championship, and you can continue that feud. I don't think this is the end of the feud. I don't think they need to per se going with it right away, but you
Yeah.
can always circle back to it. Everyone loves Sami Zayn as the chasing the title.
Exactly. Well, I think Sami Zayn's going to have another storyline that I'll get into later.
Then we have the United States Championship, Logan Paul taking on L.A. Knight.
Oh, you want me
Yeah.
you want me to say who has to win this match? Let me do that again. Who cares? Like, seriously.
What happened? What they've missed and they've done it many times before with WWE. They've missed the window on LA Knight.
Yes. He was huge. They let it bubble down. Maybe they'll give it to LA Knight and try to push him again.
I believe they're going to Japan soon. I know I read something about WWE going to Japan soon.
Oh, so Logan might be good in Japan for the crowd.
No, Logan, no. If you do not know anything about Logan Paul, you should know one thing. He is never allowed to step foot in Japan ever again.
Oh, really?
He before he decided to become a WWE star and was an idiot with a camera and people started to follow him.
On YouTube.
He went into what is lovelily described as Suicide Forest in Japan.
Oh, okay.
And filmed in there, which is a big no-no, and filmed dead and made fun of it and everything.
So yeah, maybe they'll drop it then, and when they go to Japan.
He was asked not to ever come back to Japan ever again.
Nice. Again, it's such a like a minute part of the show that I'm hoping they don't. I don't care, to be honest. It's one of those matches where you gotta go.
I think I think Logan Paul's going to win it because it's the United States Championship. Who cares if it's in Tokyo?
Yeah, that's true.
But especially because it's in Cleveland and that's where Logan Paul is originally from.
Yeah.
But who's your pick?
LA.
All right. Then we have probably the most interesting and delicious, interesting storyline. The Women's World Championship. Liv Morgan taking on Rhea Ripley in custody of Dominic in a ladder match, correct? That's what's happening?
Well, I don't know if I don't know if Dominic's still out there because he told Liv to go to hell and blah blah blah. So but I have to say this storyline has been one of the best storylines I've seen in wrestling in years and years and years.
Yeah.
It just made me smile every time, from having Carlo in there, Carlito in there. It's just a great little storyline they're doing. And they're making it relevant, but they're keeping it mid-card relevant, if that makes sense.
But it's not really mid-card relevant. And I almost think it's the hottest thing you have on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, without a doubt.
And it's for the World Championship.
Yes.
This was highly contested on Busted Open. If Roman's not coming back, which we'll talk about in the final match we talk about, if Roman's not coming back, I think you cannot put that match on last. If you're not putting that match on last, do you main event the Women's World Championship with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley?
No, because you've got you still have CM Punk should be, I would think.
So your world champions are less important than a storyline with no championship and a guy who gets injured every time he steps in the ring?
Yeah, pretty much.
Ridiculous. Then we have the WWE women. Who do you have winning that match? We got very sidetracked. Who do you have winning that match?
Oh, I think they're giving it back to Rhea because I think Liv had held the title as a interim until Rhea came back.
Well, that's what I was going to say. This great storyline came out of necessity because Rhea got injured.
That's the only reason.
And I think Dominic screws Rhea.
See, well, that was funny because I was like, what a great finish to the storyline, or new venture arm of the storyline is, haha, we got her. Right? So it's funny.
I think it's compelling TV either way.
We'll see.
Either Rhea wins and is with Dom, and the new day, the Judgment Day are stronger than ever.
See, as an old-time wrestling fan, this kind of storyline gets ruined for me because of social media. Because we all know Rhea Ripley in real life is married to Buddy
Matthews.
Buddy Matthews.
Who have you heard any contracts rumors around AEW and Buddy Matthews?
Exactly. So it's kind of like that. So I would like to see it. What you said, Liv or Dom screws Rhea, and goes in.
Hangs out with Liv.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think that's a storyline you should go with.
It'd be fun
because not only that is then you then get Triple H is smart. The way he books is smart. He thinks of long-term stories and he tells them very well.
Yeah.
He also knows how to play the internet wrestling community, the IWC.
Oh yes.
So you have Liv and Dom and Rhea. Well, what's everyone going to think about?
Yeah.
Buddy Matthews coming back to WWE.
Then you've got a really cool storyline. Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Especially because Buddy Matthews' WWE name, last feuded with the Mysterios.
True.
Before he left the WWE. But yeah, I think Liv Morgan wins it. Then we have the WWE Women's Championship. Oh, did you make your pick?
Yeah, I said Rhea.
You said Rhea.
Yeah.
We have the WWE Women's Championship. Bayley taking on Nia Jax.
Who?
Bayley taking on Nia Jax.
Who?
Nia Jax. Cousin of The Rock.
To be honest, I haven't seen any storyline involving these two whatsoever because I'm not watching the shows that closely anymore.
To me, this is the most intermission matches, and it has nothing to do, before anyone jumps on me, it has nothing to do with the fact that they're women. I also think the Logan Paul LA Knight match is a perfect intermission match.
Yeah.
You sandwich those in between like good moments and big moments. People can come down, go get their popcorn, take a leak, come back, be ready to go.
Exactly.
And when they'll be back, they'll be ready to watch the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest take on the challenger, Gunther.
Walter. Did you say Walter?
His name used to be Walter. Then they called him up to the main roster, and all of a sudden people are talking about this Gunther guy, and it literally, because I'm not watching the product and took a long time away, it took a while for me to realize that Walter and Gunther were the same person. Generic white guy name.
I keep going back and forth on this one.
I don't. I think this is the easiest booking decision of your life.
You think this is Gunther push him to the moon?
Push him to the moon. Have him feud with I don't know where you can find it, but find a white, hot baby face that doesn't have a program.
Yeah.
Because the next PLE or pay-per-view when I grew up is in Berlin.
Oh, right.
And Gunther is Austrian, but Germany is close enough to Austria. We don't differentiate the two in the world of WWE.
Yeah. I hope Gunther wins, but I have a feeling they're going to leave it on Damian.
On Priest? I hope not. I don't think Priest has been a great world champion, but also he's clearly a second-tier champion, because when I mentioned the fact that the undisputed WWE championship, if they were to put them on first, your first thought wasn't, the other men's championship. It was this match, CM Punk taking on Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins.
No, I refuse to call him that. His name is Seth Rollins.
I think Drew wins because Seth screws Punk, which sets up Punk feud with Seth for WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, Punk's going to get injured in this match, so that'll be Punk's next match anyways, is WrestleMania 6 months from now.
Wow, and you used to be a huge Punk fan. Now you're just salty.
I did used to be a CM Punk fan because I said, and I've always said, he might be a pain in the ass to work with, but he brings ratings.
Yeah.
And turns out he just brings more pain in the ass everywhere he goes.
And he gets hurt.
Did you happen to catch any part of the segment that happened this week on Monday Night Raw with these three?
Yeah. Watched it all.
Did you happen to listen to Bust It Open on Tuesday?
No.
So, Bully and Bully Ray, also known as Bubba Ray Dudley, if those who don't know, and LaGreca were talking about it. And they said they really killed the energy of the crowd because they right away said there's no physicality. You're not allowed to touch each other. And then what are we waiting for? There's nothing like why are we
but that was already done because the GM had said that the week previous. So anybody who's been following would know that they're not allowed to touch each other.
But you don't need to say it.
Yeah, you don't.
The one thing I hate about the entire segment was that Seth Rollins came out and said, I don't know what I'm going to do. Am I going to count to 10 and count you out? Am I going to count to 20? Am I going to take a nap instead of making counts? Am I going to disqualify you if you look at me the wrong way? All I know is it's my rules. What you should have done is you should have had the same segment, exclude Seth, have Drew and CM Punk chirp at each other, and then at the end be like, right, we like someone go to punch someone and be like, you touched me, there's the match is off. And then you have Seth Rollins do a warm-up match as a referee, and he calls it right down the middle, just as a normal referee would. Because then you're going into the pay-per-view and you're thinking, oh shit, they're telling me that Seth Rollins is fair and impartial, and when he's wearing the referee shirt, he's not Seth freaking Rollins, he's Seth Rollins wanting to make sure this match happens. And then, because you know he's going to screw him.
Oh yeah, I think
everyone. So. If you're watching wrestling, but who is he going to screw? We don't know. That's the whole anticipation of it.
He's going to screw somebody,
or is he not?
Could he call it down the middle and not do anything?
It just makes no sense for me to have Seth come out there and be like, who knows what we'll see? Come out, watch this match where we don't know what the rules are. Could you imagine coming out to a hockey game being like, you know what, the ref decided we took a ref from Calgary.
Are you trying to compare wrestling to hockey now?
And we're going to put again, suspension of disbelief. The referee's supposed to be there to call the match, ring the bell, and that's it.
Yes. But he's a special enforcer.
He's not a special enforcer. He's a special guest referee. It's dumb.
Same thing.
I think CM Punk's actually going to get the win.
Oh, do you?
I think it's going to happen in a way where Rollins is going to take a bump through a table or take a inadvertent bump from McIntyre. Another referee's going to run down, fast count. And it's going to be like CM Punk's friend or like Ace Steel or someone
that
like that.
That would be cool.
Right, comes out, does the quick count with the referee shirts off, ring the bell, and now you've just turned Punk into a huge heel. Yeah. Everyone hates it.
Exactly.
You've still got CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. You've got CM Punk and Seth. You've got Drew and Seth. You could do any combination of that out of SummerSlam and sell money.
True.
You're just printing money with this. This
either way, you could go big with this. This will be a WrestleMania preview, whatever comes out of this one.
Yeah, and again, if CM Punk stays healthy, maybe like multiple matches before that, but no holding our breath. And then we have the match that I think is going to be the main events. We're going to have Cody Rhodes defend his undisputed WWE Championship against Solo Sikoa, the new head of the table, getting rid of Paul Heyman, getting rid of Jimmy and Jay, and bringing in Jacob Fatu and the other Fatu and the other
Fatu.
Goose.
What are you doing?
Does Roman Reigns return?
Yes. And I think what happens is his music hits in the middle of the match, end of the match, during the match. Solo freaks out, and Cody catches him with a cutter and wins the match. Then Reigns comes to the ring, and Bedlam prevails. And Roman's going to get his butt be kicked all over the place. Then who comes to rescue him?
Sammy. Oh.
Jimmy.
And Sammy.
And they're getting their butts kicked. And then the music hits. And it's Sammy freaking Zayn for the save.
I love that story.
Yes.
I have something similar in mind. Except I have Solo beating Cody.
Oh, okay.
I have Solo beating Cody, standing over him, victorious. You get the Triple H Shawn Michaels classic, and you get the badge at the end of the show. It fades away. The announcers have already said goodbye. And right when you think, okay, they're going to fade to black, you hear the starting of Roman's music.
Crowd
You see Roman. You see Paul Heyman walk out. You see Jimmy walk out. You have Jay walk out. You have Sami Zayn walk out. And then you have Roman walk out.
See, that'd be cool.
And you fade to black.
Oh, okay.
No physicality, no nothing. You just have the original bloodline versus the new bloodline.
And you could run that all the way to WrestleMania.
Well, what's the next big 4 pay-per-view? You've got the Royal Rumble. You've got WrestleMania.
Is it Royal Rumble then WrestleMania?
Yeah,
Isn't
Rumble.
there
Because
in between?
Well, there is, but just the big 4. Just the big 4.
Yeah.
Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam.
Right.
Survivor Series.
Oh, right.
Have the new bloodline recruit 1 extra member. And you have, who's the new bloodline going to find? Who could they possibly find?
Wow.
Who could they? Well, his movie just wrapped up.
Oh,
he's done filming.
Oh.
And you have Dwayne be the 5th member at Survivor Series alongside Roman. The winner of that, Solo or Roman, becomes the head of the table. Roman becomes the head of the table. He gives himself a championship match against Solo.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
And you've got the innuendo the entire time from The Rock being like, you know why I'm doing this, why I'm helping you.
Oh.
Roman wins, and now you've got WrestleMania 41. Roman Reigns. Dwayne Johnson. On Netflix.
Oh, it would be on Netflix too, wouldn't it? Yeah. Interesting. That'd be cool.
The amount of interest in that match, if you write it that way.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
Look, I'm not saying I'm for hire WWE, AEW, GCW, WCW.
Anybody.
ECW. MLW. Any of these W's.
You're hilarious. Okay.
That is our extra long episode 79 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. Featuring multiple different leagues, multiple different stories, things we don't normally talk about.
Yeah.
If you're still here watching, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you really want to support us, tell a friend about us. Follow us on all the socials, HSP_pod. Follow the old man on X or Twitter or whatever it is. It's called @oldmanHSP. You can follow me on the same thing at JStreams, JEH Streams. And we will see you next week right here for a lighter show, a less full show, a normal length show, not an hour and a half. I know what I'm trying to say. Mwah.
Just say
Goodbye.
goodbye.